We're back for round two for this whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, so I know we've already kind of talked about this a little bit, but I just wanted to go over kind of a little bit of an overview of what we're going to be doing, kind of what you can expect from this. So this is basically just a whole lead generation and sales consultation flow. So kind of like we did before, just with the overall evaluation. Try to start kind of broad and get more and more specific. There's no wrong answers, although we'll probably dive a little bit deeper on this one just because, we're getting to the nitty gritty type of stuff. So we'll just cover, things as far as like your avatar, your offer, your lead generation strategy. We've got sales process mapping, your messaging and positioning, objection handling, outreach, follow-up, nurturing, presentation and closing strategies, your online presence, sales metrics.
All right.
Yeah,
that sounds like a lot.
It is. It's probably going to be a little bit intense. Hopefully, there'll be a lot of value out of this. I know I'll probably be a little bit tired after this. And this will be a two-part deal. So I'll go through. We'll ask as many questions as I can. Probably give you a couple of things to think about. There'll probably be a little bit of homework to do because I doubt. A lot of these things, most people don't already have flushed out. And then we'll meet again and take a look at kind of what you got done. And then I will have a whole heck of a lot of deliverables as far as each little category. There will be like an avatar summary. Make sure that we've got a one-line elevator pitch as far as being able to really tell exactly what you offer, being able to create that value, the emotional pain point, knowing exactly who your avatars are. So that's basically kind of just the overall expectations of this.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. So I know we've talked about this a little bit, but I'm just kind of going to go through, just ask a whole heck of a lot of questions. Some of them are a little bit redundant. I know some of them you and I have already talked about over the last couple days, but still just want to dive in here and figure it out.
Okay.
So the first thing is really just developing your avatar. Who is your client? Who do you really want to serve? And I want to start off here because I know you and I talked about a little bit. I think we're going to try to adjust this a little bit to just a little higher ticket people. So we'll kind of discuss that, and then we're also going to discuss, which I think is pretty important, who your ideal client is not. So kind of going through that process and knowing, like, okay, if I'm getting some of these features from people, just knowing it's like, okay, this is a good person to walk away from. So just kind of very, very basic, like, who do you sell to? And again, so we're doing this for your engineering artists, which is an engineering and drafting freelance service, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, who are you selling to now? Who are your clients?
My clients are contractors, ideally big contractors that need fast drafting for shop drawings, sketches, like drawings about on the site. Yeah, shop drawings mostly. Any construction drawings as well. Engineering firms that need workflow assistance and support, meaning that maybe one day they have like a really high pitch season where they're getting a lot of work and they might not have the in-house hire, and right now it's very difficult to find engineers really fast, and you might not want to hire a person just for a high season. So I offer my service as an engineer, and I do all the nitty gritty. I'm offering mostly drafting, also shop drawings, but mainly engineers need like detailing. They need like architectural and like all the design drawings that they do for permitting. So these are like permitting plans. So I do this as well, and the purpose of this of the work for this type of client is to improve their workflow, to help them improve their workflow. So I don't only offer drafting, I offer like good communication, easy workflow. Like I offer experts that if I don't have them, then I wouldn't offer it. So I would only offer experts on whatever area they need. So independent engineers and freelancers that can get that job in a effortless manner. So those are my clients, the engineering firms, and then PE engineers. There's PE engineers that work independently, and they also don't want to do the nitty gritty. So we can do the work. We can help them with workflow. And if they're also in a peak season, then they can also we eventually will be supporting with design drawing, like design calculations and all that stuff.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the idea, but the clients are contractors, big contractors that need drawings for construction. Then, and usually for contractors, the drawings are shop drawings that they need for the site. It's not a permitting plan. Because permitting plans, they need to do it with a PE engineer. That goes through a different process. That's architectural. And I don't have that team yet, and I'm not sure if I want to go in that route anyways. So I offer shop drawings, but shop drawings are important and they're very elaborate, so this is a good offering that I have for them. So if they have a steel building, I offer the whole fabrication shop drawing for that. Or any building thing that they're doing on site. For engineering firms is permitting plans. We support them. They give us everything we need to do. So it's easy. So I give them a system of communication that is easy. It's an easy workflow where I give them forms. They fill out everything they need from me, and there's an upload portion in this form where they attach everything, and I ask them specifically what I need from them, and depending on how that is, my rate goes. The easier the flow, the easier they make the communication, the easier I can deliver. And then the independent engineers that need support, and we all need a collaborative team. So PE engineers, they want to work alone, and they can, but we offer that extra help, collaboration, so he can have a team without having to work necessarily hiring them. We're just part of it, kind of collaborating side by side by him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with these clients, and let's shift a little bit to your ideal clients, your ideal avatar. Would these people be seeking like one-time help, recurring consulting, or full-time support?
I think knowing the behavior of engineers, it wouldn't be necessarily a consistent service unless they have, like, if an engineering firm, it could be a consistent help.
Okay.
But it all depends, because we have in construction, the behavior of construction, so this is something I'm kind of like working with along the side, because the behavior in construction is that it has its ups and downs, and unless it's a big firm and they want to pay me every month, but the whole purpose of freelancing is so they don't have to hire a full hire, so they might not hire me every month.
Okay.
There could be a membership eventually, but that's not something that right now I can really guarantee that it's going to be efficient. Like a small membership, and I don't know if it's going to be paid full, like help me. So no, I think it could lead to that if it's like a really busy office, a busy season, and they might like work with me for a few months, like 6 months.
Okay.
It could happen. Could happen even a whole year if they're busy.
Okay.
So I think if I have like various of them, I could have like one that goes that uses me for a few months, and then another one that uses me, and like that.
Okay.
But mainly, I think it's in high seasons that they would hire me, and in high seasons for them, and this really varies for every contractor and engineer. Some people are really good at attracting clients because their theme in their work is like a really important area of engineering, and I'm really global, so I'm really offering engineering services to many angles. So in that sense, I can help in the high seasons of any area.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also like, my team is so far, we're mostly engineers, and we're all engineers. We have a little bit of civil, but mostly we're all structural, geotech, and civil. But I am gonna get more people that are into hydraulic, geotech, and all this stuff eventually.
Okay.
Because it's an area that I like as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Perfect. All right. So putting yourself in your client's position. So trying to imagine that you are either the contractor or the engineer. And this is kind of a two-part question. What are they actively trying to avoid, or what are the needs that they have? And hopefully, we'll think about this. Obviously, this is business to business, but also kind of emotionally, because this is going to be more, getting to the heart of the pain points or the situations that you're solving.
Yeah. So the parts that they avoid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know that engineers, like engineering firms, they make money, but they always feel like they're not making money, so they avoid paying.
Okay.
But when my ideal client would be a high-ending, good quality, good business engineer that has his thing going really well. In that case, I think the thing that they try to avoid is needing to explain to people too much. They don't want to talk that much. They're not really about talking. They don't want the back and forth emails overwhelms engineers, especially when they're busy. They want straightforward, what do you need? Like really good questions. So that's why I developed the form. And at the same time, it's like, I feel like even the form might be at first overwhelming for them until they understand that this is going to cut off the back and forth emails. So I have to express this to them, or teach them, or lead them to understand that there might be a little bit of effort in the first intake that they have to submit for any project that they do, because there's always like, okay, give me all the insight of the project. And this might require a meeting too. So they avoid long conversation. They avoid a lot of like back and forth. And they avoid people that don't have good quality, that don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They're very careful, and if they're like the high-end engineer, they're very careful. Like they really want somebody that knows what they're doing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so flipping that coin over, avoiding these people, if they were able to find those things, somebody that, they didn't have to talk to, they found an engineer that really knows what they're doing, what does that give them?
It gives them good quality drawings, good communication, what to expect, like clear what to expect, upfront information about what they're going to get. It tells them exactly what they're not going to get. And a clear communication on what we need, if we need corrections and stuff. So we will have a back and forth, and in upfront it will be told, like, and they also know that there's always corrections and things to talk about. But we will give them efficient communication, like effective communication, that it's clear and it's like as minimal as possible.
Okay. And how does that make your clients or that person feel, knowing that they're giving all of these things? How does it make them feel?
It makes them feel like they have to try it first because there is. But I think if I really get this point through them, I think it feels good.
Okay.
It feels like whoa, I can really unload this baggage to somebody because I would be taking in the responsibility that he has to follow up on his drafters. So if he communicates effectively in the form, which is this is the trick because not everybody reads the forms adequately. So I might ask for A and they might give me Z, and I didn't even mention Z in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if the form is filled out correctly and they're really giving me all the information that I need, then and I will follow up if I have any questions. So we just close up any questions, any gaps, any space, and then I move forward. With time, it gets better and better. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying from day one to be like give him an improved flow already, even though it's gonna always need improvement because the flow is like that. It's gonna be an improvement to his flows that he has, probably messy, no order, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'm bringing this flow that is really focused on clear communication and actually delivering that result as precise and as clear as possible. Okay. Whatever we're working on.
Okay.
So I have more eyes, I have people working with me, and I have myself. And it's really the whole focus of everything. The day one that someone comes to work with me, the purpose is to improve workflow, to improve every process of it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm gonna dig in a little bit deeper on this, and I'm gonna say a few things. Correct me if you're wrong, but it sounds like some of the outcomes that they are getting from like a more, not just what is being delivered, but assuming that you do deliver these things, you're a few months into this process, is it safe to say that they would have more confidence in their business? Would they say that there's more like peace of mind, that they are, I guess, confident in the qualities that they're going to have, that they have more time available or headspace to focus on other things? That's the type of stuff I'm trying to get in with these questions.
So like definitely a peace of mind and space to work on more, like on getting more clients, on actually designing the engineering portion of things, like putting really in focus, good strong focus on the part of design. Because sometimes we lack the part of designing because we have drafting to do. So we have to like balance out drafting and design. So space of mind with that, and also good quality drawings. So he can give me exactly how he wants his drawing to be. So he can also step up into, actually my drawings, I always end up copy and pasting this typical detail, and I know it's not good for my client because it ends up always coming back needing more, and then the client loses money and stuff. So really bringing that, like giving me all the things that he wants to improve within his drafting that can really make, so it would almost improve his quality in his job. And then if we get that going really smoothly for him, then he's gonna want to come back a lot, because it would be like his contractors are gonna be happy with a clean drawing, and his clients are gonna be happy that the work was smooth. So they're gonna come back saying, "Whoa, the job was quick." Mm. So he will know internally that the job was quick because he had good drawings.
Okay.
Drawings is the sense of the mean of communication for engineers. So if there's not a good drawing, it can be troublesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perfect. I think there's a lot there. Okay. Okay. So what thinking about these clients, how much money ideally do these clients make and have available to solve this problem?
So clients, the engineers make about 250 an hour
Okay.
themselves for sites, measurements, and all that. For the junior engineers that they send out to do the measurements and do the nitty gritty, they charge usually like 150, and this is like a low price. It might be more. I think some engineers, they charge for themselves 500 and something.
Okay.
But for their junior engineers, they ask for, depending on what engineers they have in house, it might be 250, 300. So it varies
Okay.
depending on the firm and what they're working on. So it goes from 150 to 350 per site. For drawings, I don't really know, but I'm gonna guess there's a rate somewhat around that. But it has to be also something that client people, residential people can do. I really want to work mostly with commercial and hospital, like big building thing people, because I want to do fabrication. I want to like bring in ease on those workflows, because big structures have more opportunity to be more creative. But residential people, I'm going to offer and see where it goes as well, the residential engineers.
Okay.
See if there's like big projects coming up for them, because I mean there's definitely good stuff, opportunities for housing as well. So that's around what they charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to put like a number of revenue, and this is for like really going out there and being able to just, so we're not talking to everybody, it is there like a number of like, no, I want to work with companies that are making $1 million to $5 million a year, or $100,000 to $1 million, or 10 million to 50 million. Where do you think your ideal clients, where do they fit into here? And
so I think it's something that I'm exploring, but as I move forward, I really think I want to work with clients that have high-end projects. So probably like $1 million to more in yearly. And I say more because there's really different company. There's people that are like 500 million to $1 billion a year, and those are like companies that build tunnels and like essential huge difficult structures, and their whole system is focused on the construction safety. And if they need help, they would need help on the construction safety drawings. But for me, this business is all about connecting with like really good engineers at the end of the day as well. So it might be like a good opportunity to work with good companies, with good engineering, with good engineers. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
okay.
I don't know. Like, there's just so many that just kind of popped all at once in my head, and I don't know what to say because.
That's okay. This is why we do it.
Yeah. Okay.
To make you think about these things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're say you want to work with good engineers. Where do you think, what size companies, we're still going to work on this, how much, where do you think most of the good engineers are at? Like, and again, thinking about, 500 million to $1 billion, like, are they going to need your services? Do they already have enough people in there to do it? Or is the $1 million firm, are they going to have a lot of competent engineers that you're really going to work well with?
Yeah, so good ass companies, they should have their engineers. But I worked in a really good company that focused on hiring the best engineers, competent engineers, and they did. But they didn't have the drafting service really, like not many of them knew how to draft that well. So that is something I could provide. But on the higher end, I do want to provide eventually, like the goal of this is to eventually become creative, like to actually build ourselves, not just doing the drafting, because eventually people can get tired of doing drafting. So I really also focus on the growth of this, to not be stuck in like a really service of repetitive for the collaborators, because they might get bored. They might be like, oh, I already made some money, I'm tired, I'm bored. So in that sense, that's the part that I'm like, so yeah, with the big companies, I don't know how much it could grow. I think it could, because I would be involved with them, learning their stuff, learning with them. So if I felt they needed to improve on something, because I'm improving, my essence is to improve workflow. So if I can be like, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be in touch with big systems and be able to provide support in workflow. And that can be a lot more in depth in other areas too. So I want to be in touch with them, so I can be like, oh, I can help you on that. Oh, I can help you on this. So now that I kind of felt that, then I think companies, it could be companies that are big, that don't have the competent drafters in-house, because there could be some in-house drafters that are good. But we all need, you will never have in a company like 5 drafters that are good. So if they're busy with drafting and they need somebody, they can always be like, oh, this is a good contact, this is a good person that I met, and I can hire her.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's still always opportunity within big companies, and within small companies. I think it's also tricky. I think if the small companies are really well marketed, and they know they're really competent in what they do, and they're really known, I can work with them, because I just feel like they would appreciate more of my work, because I'm going to improve their quality. So they're willing to pay me. Because at the same time, I don't want to, just because I'm offering freelancing doesn't mean that I'm going to sell it in a really low price.
So this company that you were talking about, that you mentioned that you worked for, that had worked really good, that had very good engineers but didn't have drafting, would you say that would they be an ideal client for you?
They could, yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. I want you to let's kind of hold on to that idea right here. Now that just kind of gives you like a solid, oh, this could be a good example of a ideal client for me. So let's just kind of hold on to that a little bit while we're moving forward and talking about the offers and things like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so now complete opposite side of this coin. You just really dove into what is a great client. Now, for your sake, let's really kind of flush out what makes a bad client, a bad avatar. So some of these things like, and I'll just open this up. I have a couple notes here, but in your mind, like, what have been some of the people that you really don't like working with, you don't want to work with, you've had bad experiences with? Who are they? What have they done? What are the things that frustrate you?
Yeah, I will say that the clients that I don't like to work with are people that also don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
Out there, and I don't want to work with people that don't have integrity with their word, with what they're doing out there, and with how they work with people.
Okay.
And how that kind of is seen or noticed is that they'll come to you and they always seem to be like amazing the first time you see them, and you're like, whoa, they're so great. and then the second time you see them, they have a different energy, they're different vibe, and they're saying a whole different story. That already is like a red flag for me. It's like,
Okay.
and so I mean, I've learned it through experience. I've definitely always thought my first impression of them was like the thing, and then the second time was just like, oh, this is just a bad day that they had, and eventually it always comes back to be like they don't have integrity with what they're saying. It's not that they're bad people. It's just that they don't know how to keep up with what they want, with what they say. And with engineering, it's difficult, with engineering, it's really important to like have it's so much information, and we're talking about information that it's like very detailed, and it's heavy. It's like a lot of information. It's like a huge notebook of information when you have a project or something, and you want to be surrounded by people that can handle that.
Okay.
Yeah, that can handle good communication, good ethics, and all that stuff.
Okay. How would you determine right off the bat if these clients have these negative characteristics? What questions can you ask? Are there, yeah.
That's a good question. I don't really know. I think I can sense it sometimes through their own stories. So I think when I get people going on talking and sharing a little bit of what they do and how they deal. I don't ever wanna like do a call with them and sound like I'm interviewing them. But I do want to get a conversation going almost as an interview, almost to get to know them a lot. And I think those things kind of pick up in. I think I'm getting better at it. I'm sure I can pick it up in it's like little twerks, like little hunches of attitude that may come out from the story.
Okay.
That, because like in engineering, there has to be like a seriousness and a structure, but there also has to be a lot of flexibility. So some people have a lot of structure, they don't have flexibility, and they tend to be really radical people. Like, I think there are certain strict, I know it all engineers that I would definitely not want to work with. And it's not because they know it all. Some of them are really smart, but like in engineering, it's not how much you know. It's how flexible are you to collaborate with people, because engineering is not a one-man job. Most certainly it's not a one-man job. So it's like, how good are you at being flexible? And if you're really good engineer, if you really know what you're doing, how good are you at delivering that good for people to grow with, not be stepped over? Because they're really good engineers that are really good at saying, I know this, and having all the engineers under him. And they don't grow. And some people kind of keep up with this. That's not the system that I want to work with, because the system that I am trying to build within my own circle, within my own network, is people that are working along side by side together, where there's nobody stepping over anybody. Of course, there's people that know more, and we're gonna learn from them. But it's not like I'm giving you all this information. There's people that deliver information without allowing you to expand or like stepping over. And so I don't want those type of attitudes. At the end of the day, we grow because we choose to, not because somebody is delivering information like that. But it's not a comfortable energy to be around with. It's an energy that is always conflictive, and it's always when the moment you want to tell them, your insight is never going to be heard. So it's like a rigid engineer that doesn't listen, they only listen to their brains. It's like they're always sniffing themselves. They don't sniff anything else. So it's like there's no collaboration. I want to work with engineers that are willing, flexible, really competent, but also very connected to good quality, wanting to do a good job, having like a good heart, and like all that stuff. Like people that know how to deliver their genius.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how genius you are. If you don't know how to deliver it, you can stay home and work with whoever else.
Perfect. Excellent. I think we really dug in there quite a bit and got those juices flowing. That'll be part of your homework, though, is to really dive in here and figure out how you can qualify your prospects between good and bad, which is not an easy.
Well, no, it's not. But the whole thing that I just shared right now just makes me more strict, because I know when I sense an engineer like that, because I've been surrounded by so many engineers, and I'm so good at picking at them that I've been in conferences and I've been like, oh, you're a hydraulic engineer, how'd you know? Oh, because of this and this. And it's just like a vibe. Like our practices, our muscle building, daily muscle build, creates a facial expression, creates body language. So I can read through body language, through how they speak, what major they're in. So I know a geotech, I'm like, you're a geotech. Oh, you're a structural engineer. Structural engineers tend to have like a big head.
Okay.
They might kind of like slang like this a little bit because of how heavy it is.
Okay.
But not all of them.
Okay. Is there a particular industry that you would prefer to work with over others?
No, I like all of them.
Okay.
It's just characteristics, and I'm sure there's probably like an egoistic geotech. I'm just saying, like, structural engineers tend to be like that because it's very material and it makes a lot of money, so they tend to be like more superficial about things. But geotechs and hydraulics, they're working with earth and water, so they tend to be more fluid. The hydraulics are very like different in earth, and the geotechs are very the way they dress, the way they are, is just more earthy. Okay. So they really represent the thing that they work with in the manner of their body. And then the structural people, they also represent it. They're like,
yeah.
I am the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, they're all good. It's just that as long as you're knowing, it's how you deliver your genius at the end of the day. So I don't really judge, but I can tell. This is my intuition, kind of like sensing, but it's really different. It really varies, really, from people to people.
Okay. Cool. Okay, we're gonna shift gears a little bit. Now that we have gone through, we've kind of distinguished good clients from bad clients. Now we're gonna go into the offer and the offer refinement. So, and I know that you have a few different offers, but just in general, I'm just going to start off from the top here. Can you describe your offer, what you provide, in one sentence?
Well, I provide improved workflow and support through shop drawings, drafting, structural drafting, all types of drafting, 3D modeling, and technical support if needed as well, like calculations and calculation programmings, like calculating through dynamic analysis through programs.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna work on this a little bit, and I'm gonna beat this up a little bit.
Okay.
Because part of this we were talking about before. I think that's great, but I think those are the features that you sell, which is, you're totally right. But as far as I want to get in here and go a few levels deeper, we've already talked about this a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
So, with some of the conversations we've already had, let's revisit like the pains that your ideal client is experiencing, and what those features that you provide, what do you give them on an emotional
level. Yeah. So what am I selling to them? I'm selling them a peace of mind. I'm selling them easier workflow. I'm selling them space to improve their quality in delivery of drawings. I'm selling them space for them to focus on the real heavy stuff, which is getting clients and doing the design structural like doing the designs. I'm also selling good communication, stronger network of collaboration. Mm, yeah, efficient work.
Yeah.
Efficient collaboration.
Okay.
Yeah, and network. I'm gonna be, having good engineers doing their thing, and they get to explore our skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do this. This will be part of the homework. This is important, but I want to try to do this one more time.
Mm.
What you just said, but can we condense it into one sentence?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm your ideal. You know what an elevator pitch is?
Yes, but I as soon as I think of it, then my mind kind of goes.
Well, you got. I mean, you're. I mean, I think we're much closer there. What you. I mean, and I don't know why I'm gonna tell you this, but seriously, hearing your first answer versus your second answer, it actually made me like kind of emotional, because it was really. I mean, the difference between that one and the other one. It really is like this emotional thing of like, oh shit, what you're offering. And also just like you seeing the difference between these things. Oh, I offer drafting. Yeah, okay. No, you offer quality. You offer peace of mind. You offer confidence. Like that's so much different.
Yeah.
So let's just one more time. At least one more time.
Yeah.
What do you offer to your clients?
So I offer my clients peace of mind. I offer improvement in quality. I offer them space to improve their focus on their job. I offer effortless workflow. I also
That's great.
It's not
That's
coming
good.
out the same.
No.
I'm thinking more.
No, that was perfect.
But yeah, I'm gonna focus on the biggest.
Those first three.
Yeah.
I mean, you knocked it out of the park,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Okay.
You offer improved quality, confidence, and good communication. Mm-hmm. At least some of those, that is phenomenal. That is going to get somebody's attention a lot more than I offer drafting. Mm-hmm. So, do you feel that? Do you see the difference between those? Beautiful. Okay, so on that, let's keep rolling with it a little bit. So what makes your offer different or better than anybody else offering your services?
Well, that I am not offering only quality. I think a lot of drafters out there, freelancers, are offering just like, the regular work kind of deal. But the thing is that this is a platform, and I am finding the best engineers that love doing what they do. So drafters that actually love drafting, and they're engineers, but they really love being in the computer and drafting, and they do it quick and they do it good and they're effortless. So I work and I pick people and I get what is the thing that you love, and that's what they're gonna offer in their services.
Okay.
So I'm working with people that want to do that and love doing that, so it's effortless for them. So I need to make sure that this is effortless too on this side. But I can have also space and centeredness to make sure that that I'm providing improvement of workflows. So I am like a computer house, like a powerhouse that is paying attention to the system flow. And my job is to make that system flow improve. Okay. So I'm making sure that we have the structure for the communication, the structure and systems for strong communication, strong clear communication, strong and clear expectations and limitations, and that everybody loves what they're doing. Everybody's in alignment with what they're doing. Like, I don't want someone doing something that they don't love. because it's not gonna be 100% good, and there's gonna be a, like, it's almost like having a pipe that is broken. I don't want it. It's just using a good pipe that's gonna flow more effortless.
Okay.
So that's my job, making sure the system is working appropriately, and it's a heavy job, really. I think it's gonna take a lot of attention.
Valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I offer that's different.
Okay.
That I'm offering a team that is in alignment, or that I'm making sure that it is in alignment with that project. A system for strong, clear communication, and a system for effortless work. So improvement of workflow.
Okay.
That's what the selling portion.
Okay.
The essence of it all.
Yeah.
Where all those benefits that I was mentioning, the peace of mind and everything else, comes from having effortless, in alignment workflow.
Okay. So on this, we've gotten what you offer. How can we, and I know we're still working on this, we're working through it a little bit, but how in this one line offer, or what you do, how can we create a sense of urgency as far as why, if you're talking to this person in the elevator, why should they talk to you right now? Why should they be like, oh, while you're standing here, I need your contact information?
Well, urgency, I would say that burnout. A lot of engineers, and I see this, a lot of them, sometimes they don't even notice until it's too late, because engineering is such a fast thing, and it's also exciting. I think some engineers kind of, well, I don't know if they get excited. If I ask them right now, they're probably like, they're tired, they're burnt out. So yeah, okay. The urgency is like reducing burnout within the company, within themselves. Like, you also improve the engineers in the company, because like the hires that they have in the company could also be focusing on the good stuff that they want to do, that they want to design. Like, if they have a design, they don't have to like focus on doing the drafting.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
do they like doing the design?
I think some engineers do like drawing. Like, I myself, after designing and all doing that, once I started doing the drafting, I would relax. But the thing is that not everybody likes that. I like it because I like drawing. I think I'm one of the random weird ones that do like drawing, to be honest. I don't know. I don't think any engineer really likes drawing. After they do it a few times, they don't.
Okay.
But still, so yes, most of them don't. But also because if you have a lot of work, you rather get the important work done. Mm-hmm. So drawing, not everybody, like, we went to school to draw, but not everybody is skilled to do it effortless, like really quick. There's people that do it with like, they're just like this the whole time, and they do it quick. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, yes, then you want to give it to somebody that knows how to do it quicker and more clean, and they know the program so well because they've worked on it for many years, and they know how to tweak it and make it really nice and pretty. Some people may take a long time to just refine a line. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, why is this line not working? So it really clutters, it backlogs everything. And this is what happens in most office, that people spend a lot of time in drafting because they don't know how to make an oval circle in the way that they want it, and then they don't know how to do this thing, and yeah, so it may take a bunch of time. It might be consuming. Yeah. So in the office, like, you'll have maybe one engineer that's good at drafting, another one that's okay, and then one that is like, oh, I'd rather not. So, yeah. So the urgency would be reducing burnout from everybody. Because if you reduce the how much work they got, then they can focus on the real important things and probably just have less workload, like be more like a peace of mind. Yeah.
Okay.
Completely a whole peace of mind in those heavy, tough moments of the high seasons or the busy times, and reduce burnout for the engineer himself as well.
Okay. I gotta write this down before I lose this. Okay. I don't love this part right now, just what I have come up with, but I think I'm going to give you the example of what I think we've already come up with your one-liner, but you're going to have to go through and refine it. And let me know what you think about it. This is your kind of list of homework, but I offer quality drafting and clear communication to free up your time to do what you love and make more money.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay? Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to put this down as an example. It can definitely be tweaked, but this is an example of kind of those offers, and you don't even necessarily have to put in quality drafting or anything like that. Or as far as drafting, obviously you want to. I mean, this is a one-liner to spark interest and be like, oh, what exactly do you do? And so if you do shop drawings or if you offer engineering, you can kind of add to it. But this is what I mean as an example of a one-liner that really you're like, oh shit, that gets the emotion. And as far as like, oh,
yeah, within the shop, like the contractors that I'm offering shop drawings, the thing for them wouldn't, I don't know if it would be burnout, because they have a different behavior of situation that they live. It's a different focus. With them, what they want, what I think they want is a drawing that doesn't have that much back and forth, which again comes from me getting the right information from them, and that and me asking the right questions to them once I have all their architectural and structural drawings. I need to have engineers in-house that really look deeply into those plans and are really good at looking at those plans and are like, okay, this is missing this is missing this is missing this, where is this going, and then asking them the right questions, which is something that I'm like focusing on with a collab with my team, that we really are like have like the best eyes for that. And what I offer them that's different, because this is one question that one client asked me, and he's a shop drawing, like a steel fabricator kind of client. He asked me this, and what I'm offering them is like good quality drawings, but also less back and forth. And the same thing, if they have in-house drafters, I am offering them an ease when there's a busy time, that they can count on me. They can count on me as if an extra, as part of one of their team. I can really be part of their team in a way, as me receive all the information, but with me, what I'm offering is that least back and forth and clear drawings, like really. And maybe I wanna include to that I'm bringing in, because I meet a lot of engineers like 1 engineering hour or 2 engineer hour consulting, where they can give me like always improvement on anything construction wise. So what I'm offering is that we know about like how they're built, so we have the experience of how they're built. We draft them, and we give good quality, and that's it. So with that, I have to like level it up, and that's why I think me having good engineers, which I do have right now, like I have them, but I have to see how I can offer this to them in a way that they want to also be part of it, because they want to be part of bigger projects. I don't know if this, but have them like give me an hour or two to improve the fabrication process. If there's anything that they give, that any insight in how the fabrication process should be, you know. So it's just like a consulting of how to build effortless. Since this is what I'm giving in, I'm trying to bring the right team that can provide also, like, fabrication drawings is such a detailed process that I want to give something that is the least back and forth, so good communication, good questions, and anything improved. So we're looking for improved in how it's going to be built.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the expertise in how it's going to be built. It's a lot of work.
This right here, or
No,
your business?
That thing. But
Coming
I mean,
up with
it's
the offer.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's there. It's that. It's just like everything that I. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is not easy. This is probably the single most challenging thing of all sales. But when you nail this, this is everything, you know? And creating an offer that people feel stupid saying no to, like, this is great. So this is tough. This is what I meant by, like, we're going pretty deep, and we're going to beat it up, and we're going to come back and forth to it, and we can make tweaks, but really, like, going several layers deeper, really offering the emotional outcome, making sure that they understand what they're going to get, how it affects them immediately right now,
Yeah.
and then they don't even question how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
Because if they're like, oh, wait a minute, you're going to allow me to do what I love or what I don't hate, and that makes me a ton of money, it's like, okay, name your price. So that's what we're going for here. All right, I think we've gotten a lot clearer on the offer and this refinement. Now let's go to lead generation strategy.
Okay.
I know you and I have already talked about this, but how are you getting leads right now for engineering?
I mean, it's everything that we've talked so far has changed from last time.
Great.
It's all been like, I didn't have any of this before. So
Okay.
this is all from our last,
Okay.
whatever we did last time, this is all the results from a month of non-seeing sunlight and just working. This is all that I've been working on.
Okay.
So, but with the lead generation, I have been contacting people individually through LinkedIn. I did emails as well, but I found that emails will not be efficient with engineers because engineers have a lot of emails going on back and forth with clients and everything. So it's overwhelming to have to see one more email. So I went outside the email because the emails are just like overwhelming. So outside of the email in LinkedIn, I'm delivering messages. So I introduced myself and I offered what I'm offering in a form, so they can fill out their form, and the form pretty much asks it asks who they are. So it says engineering support intake form, please share your details and your current challenges and the services you may be interested in. I'll follow up to book an introduction call with me. So
Okay.
it's a first, so they give me their name, their company name, if they have one, email, phone number, and easy, just to select what you need. So what type, multiple choice. So it's like, what type of services are you seeking? And I have drawings, Revit, structural, BIM, shop drawings, blah, 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 blah. And then select any recurrent challenges or areas where you like more support or efficiency. So reducing delays, improving drawing turnaround time, clarifying fabrication construction details, offloading, overflow drafting or modeling work, communicating changes across teams, creating clearer, more accurate documentation. So that's what I have there. And
Okay.
I submit, so then I kind of have a little bit of what they need from me. And then from there, I contact them either through text, email. I was doing email, but I realized, again, with email, it's not going to work out with engineers. So I'm going to try to go with LinkedIn or phone number.
Okay.
And text them. So that's what I've been doing, the form. So I do LinkedIn with this form link. in it. And the LinkedIn is a message. It's a little kind of long, not too long message. I would say like medium. It's not like one paragraph. It's like 3 paragraphs, short paragraphs in the LinkedIn. Then I've been also adding to that separately to other people. Instead of sending them the long message, I've been connecting and leaving them a note to connect. So before they accept me, they read that message, and in that message it's like, hey, I came across your profile. I like the work that you do. I am offering support for this type for what you do. I'm offering ease on workflow, support with drafting. It's super short, and then I just say that, oh, okay, this is one of them. I really changed them, but this one says, I run a collaborative platform that supports fabricators with shop drawings, modeling, and plan reviews. We focus on structural logic to help reduce revisions and keep projects moving smoothly. Would love to stay in touch, Gabby. And then once they do approve me, once they connect with me, then I've been sending them a video of just introducing myself, and I I'm like saying hello virtually with a smile, and then if you're open to explore how a team of independent freelancers can collaborate or support your projects in the future, feel free to fill out this quick form. Looking forward to stay in touch. And then a video in the bottom, and it's just me saying, hey, dot, 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 dot. So that's what I've been doing, and it's been, people are looking, and some people have said thank you, and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Most of them are PE independent engineers, and some of them are fabricators.
Okay.
Some of those PE, they're like head engineer in a firm.
Okay.
So I'm trying to lead to owners and to PE engineers that are project managers, because I know that once you have like 8 years in a company, you want to give initiative of something. So, I mean, I did for my company. So I'm offering that, and they can either offer it for the company, or they can be like, oh, I do my independent engineering, and I could use that drafting support, and then they call me.
Okay.
So that's what I've been doing, and it feels right. It feels good. I feel energized when I do it. I do feel like I have to be creative, so I'm gonna continue getting more creative with the videos I do. I'm not gonna be resending a lot of messages to people that I've already done. Because if they're not showing interest, I don't want to I don't want to be too much. Maybe in a few months, maybe if one of them pops in my face, like, and I feel like it, yes, but I'm not gonna be overwhelming people that are not showing any interest at all.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna, like, those that at least go in my site and look, they didn't say anything, I will probably message them again.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, why don't we just book up a call or something. So I'm playing with how I become creative with that.
Are you keeping track of this in any way? Of like who you're reaching out to, who's responding?
Well, HubSpot would be awesome for that, because HubSpot does that, and there's like pipelines and stages and all this stuff that I have actually open here in my thing. I asked GPT to explain what a pipeline was and what stages are.
Okay.
And I have it here, so I do know that it's like the moment that it becomes really relevant, then I'm gonna start using HubSpot for it. But for now, I'm doing it like the old school way, just intuitively kind of knowing, because I'm all day in here and I'm like, okay, this person answered, oh, this person looked. So what I do is like the sequence that I have for myself, because I'm a very overviewer, is that I go into my LinkedIn and I look at all the people that looked at my profile and I message them.
Okay.
I go into my inbox and all the people that responded to me or that said something to me, then I go and do something about it.
Okay.
So that's what I have. And then obviously the how I'm keeping track is through the forms. If they fill out a form, then that's like a really like an interested lead. So that would be an interest lead. But the I'm kind of interested, I don't know, those are the leads that I'm like focused through eye contact, through just me overviewing their behavior through how they show, because I have the premium for now in here, and it does show me who looked at my LinkedIn, which is sneaky, because the people that have premium, they can choose to be invisible if they want. So yeah, if you have premium, you can choose to be invisible. So I know some of them have looked, and I don't know. Okay. Because they have premium. But I have premium, and I haven't chosen to be invisible. I only show up invisible when I'm in the sales navigator. If I'm in the sales navigator, I think it goes. That's my understanding. I haven't really like confirmed, because I don't care if they see me. They see me. I'm like.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah.
You're in sales right now. Your goal is to be seen.
Yeah, but I don't mind if they see me. I'm going, so I don't care if I'm invisible or not. Mm-hmm. But some people like to be invisible in the LinkedIn.
Okay. Is there anything else you're doing as far as attracting people?
Well, I have a thing in Craigslist that I've been wanting to upgrade, because it's been renewing every month. I didn't tell Craigslist to renew it every month, but I'm actually grateful for it, because I don't have to go and do it myself. So it's a post about my service as a drafter, like a freelancer. So It's more like an independent, me as an independent. So I have to make it a little bit more of the engineering firm. But in a way, when I see my post that I have in there, overall, it's pretty good. I mean, I'm offering mostly my own service. So if I'm offering this platform, yeah, I do have to upgrade and offer my platform there, and put like a really catchy title or something to catch the attention of engineers when they're out there in Craigslist, because there's definitely engineers that go in there.
So is this Craigslist thing, so are you trying to get both? You're trying to get clients and contractors, or is it geared towards?
In the Craigslist, it's for fabrication drawings and modeling, 3D modeling. Okay. So I am aiming fabrication drawings, because fabricators do go to Craigslist, and that's the other thing. Who is going to go in Craigslist and find drawings? It's probably not the best, Those are people that are looking for economic pricing. So it's not like a strong lead, I don't think. Okay. Yeah, and most people that I've found in Craigslist that call me, they never I don't want to say close, but they never end up becoming a strong client, because I only had one, and he was such a troublesome. He paid me, but like, I think he probably cried every time he paid me. And I cried just pushing him to pay me. Yeah. And it was a hustle. Like, I felt burnt. Yeah, well. And I don't do the drafting, so imagine like how tough it was. It wasn't comfortable at all.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so it was a painful job. So I think Craigslist is not a strong lead, but I could at least promote my services, and you never know. Like, promote the workflow that I'm doing, and maybe one good independent engineer kind of comes in there looking for something and finds it. Yeah. Okay. I think one of the strongest pillars of engineer artists is to attract strong engineers and strong like good engineers, good quality in collaboration. So I don't mind to find an engineer that is really good and that maybe he's not really interested in the service, but he's interested in collaborating, or all of a sudden like he just becomes a network. So it's not only selling, but the visibility portion also helps for becoming a network of like, hey, actually I don't need your services, but I know someone that might. And this is great, and we can work together, and maybe I can call you one day. So yeah.
Cool. Great. All right. Anything else as far as lead generation? Anything else you're doing or thinking about doing? Okay.
No, not yet. I
Okay.
think maybe calling. I have done calling before.
Okay.
But for that, I need to practice a little bit more. But I have done some callings, and
Okay.
some kind of go really well, and then some I'm like, and it's weird. And I think it's like depending on who the other person is, how rigid they are. If they're rigid, I might feel that rigidness, and then I'm like, with the other person, it's like, hey, what's up? So yeah, what are you offering? And then all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, I offer this and this and this. Oh, that's interesting. So.
Fair enough. Okay, let's go a little bit into just the sales process mapping. I think we've already kind of covered most of these as well, but I just want to... have you ever heard of the concept of customer journey?
Would it be like the stages in pipelines?
Pretty much.
Kinda, yeah.
Yes, and yes. I mean, a pipeline is a representation of where your customers are at in your journey. The journey can be more of like the story that you really see of like how did I initially get their attention? Where did they go from here? So it's like the in-betweens of the pipelines of how do you get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if that's it, then I've studied it a bit.
Okay.
And I've even before I studied it, I understood with my other business, with Genius Art Studio, that it is important to understand a little bit of that. At least have a good understanding of what leads a client to get to from point A to point B. And a lot of it has a lot to do with building trust, but what steps create that trust in that specific area. So that's why it's a bit of a behavior, not a behavior understanding. I mean, there is behavior understanding, but I don't want to make it like so psychological, even though it is. It is. I know. But yeah, no, it totally is at the end of the day, because it's like, what creates those steps for that person to understand and to trust you enough to go into that. Because there's like it's a steps of trust. It's like building a friendship. It's building like, hey, what's up? How do I get from knowing you to being like really good friends with you?
Yeah.
So what are those steps? Yeah.
Okay.
So it makes sense.
Yeah. And part of it too, just understanding like that is not even in a nutshell, but in an oak tree, that is what sales is. So also just understand that that's very fluid, and all of these things will change. And part of just the sales process is like starting somewhere, going through, applying what you've got, seeing what's working, what isn't working, making a little bit of a tweak here and a little bit of a tweak there, seeing where people are getting stuck in your pipelines. So it's a very ongoing, fluid thing, and that's just what sales is it's like, it is very much a science, but science has to do with experimenting and changing different variables. So it is very important. At the same time, it's not like a one and done. It really is your map for your entire process.
Yeah.
So,
is there a way that it can be like, because I'm a very intuitive, logical person. So there is definitely logic, but it's like very intuitive, and I think this is very intuitive because it has to do with people's behavior. And at the end of the day, I think it's fluid in a very intuitive way. So I've become interested in this. It's like the next step of my business development as a person that's developing this whole thing. So I think the interest. Well, I forgot. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, because I know HubSpot creates this. I have to create a list, and it says stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So I have like a little stage 1 and all that. I kind of created it a little bit with ChatGPT's help. The thing is that I haven't created it for real in HubSpot because I think it needs observation, intuitive observation, and like awareness, taking notes kind of deal at first before I fix it in a program, you know? Because it feels like it's fluid, and I want to grab the one that is like the best fit for it before I fix it in my program. Before I start using a program with with a bunch of stages. So is there a way that you figured out maybe? Or, I mean, I'm probably just going to map it out by hand.
Yeah, that is exactly whatever you can do to get it out there. And I just want to remind you too, do you remember the 70% principle?
I know the 80-20.
Okay, 80-20.
I forget.
70% is my own deal. And it's a deal on iterations.
Oh, okay, yes, I remember.
Yes. Okay. So what we're going to do, and I think actually this wasn't necessarily part of the plan, but I think if we just take a few minutes, we're going to run through this right now, actually. And so I just want you, and the 70%, we're going to do it right now, but just understanding like you don't have to have it all figured out. Again, this sales process is very, very fluid, and it's going to change, but just getting your very first draft of like, okay, I have gone through the process of like, okay, what has to happen here? What is going on all the way to a sale? Boom. And then you've got it in your head, and then you can just write it out in a draft, and that's your 70%. You can start getting there.
Yeah. No, I agree, and the 70%, I remember what you mean, and I think that I haven't done it because GPT has told me to, and she gave me, but I haven't really done the observation because I haven't really done the lead search yet.
Yeah.
Now that I have a little bit, now I'm ready to like have some. A little bit of more of that.
We're gonna dive into this. This is exciting. Okay. So this is kind of what you helped me with. We're gonna just visualize a little bit here and pretend that I am a potential client. And again, this is just, theoretically how you want things to go. But let's talk this out from the very beginning as far as, and I'll kind of explain this to you as far as like, okay, how are you going to get my attention? And then how are you going to talk to me first? Where do you want me to go after that first conversation? Then from there, what are you going to do? And then, like, what are these steps? I know, it's okay.
I'm like, this is like a face of like, oh.
Yeah. Okay. So this is just and you know this shit. You do this already. You do this. This is just a matter of, like, you've already gone through it. It's just stepping back and being like, okay, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. So, in your best ideas, like, hit me with it. Like, how do you get my attention? What do I do next? How do you handle that? Where do we go? All the way to you getting paid and then a follow-up.
Okay.
So, however you need to do this, let's go. I might interject a little bit here and there, but just how do you get my attention?
So I get your attention through an outreach message, either LinkedIn, email, text message, call, whichever those. And I give you a really short message of what I offer and how it can improve your work.
Okay.
And give you a peace of mind and all the good benefits.
Okay.
But just really short and brief and say, if you're interested, if this is something that sounds interesting, I invite you to fill out a form.
Okay.
So then I take them to a form. Well, I don't know if that's a thing, but
Yeah.
I take them to a form.
Yeah.
Once I have their information and I have a little bit of like, oh, this is what they need, I have a little bit of insight in what direction they need, then I send them another message and I say, thank you for filling out, taking your time to fill out this form. Now I know what you need. I would love to have a call with you and actually learn more about how this is a problem for you and how this looks for you.
Okay.
And then I can give you a little bit more insight in how I can help you solve that issue, and how my support can help you solve ease that problem that you have and also get good quality results. So I give them, so that's the second, or I don't know what step.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's the call. And then after the call, then I lead them. Then they say in that call, I show them the tiers of prices that I have. Hopefully, if I have it ready. I don't know if the pricing would be right away, because if it's project based, the pricing might be off here because every project is so different. So the whole project thing, having prices for project is a bit tough, but I have developed a 3 thing, and it's kind of like broken down into like, if you need this. So there's a lot of that breaking down. So I think I could have a price thing pop to them. And I'm probably gonna need to add more price to it, because if I'm really gonna offer this badass shit that I'm offering, I need to charge a lot, because I'm gonna have to pay the best engineers.
Hell yeah.
To help me get that that result, because I know how to get that result.
Okay.
Like what I'm offering, I know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that I can't do that with charging really low.
Yeah.
Like the people that work with me are gonna do it, but they're gonna do it like, really. But if we're all getting paid what it really is, then we're gonna do it for less. So in that call, I think I'm gonna show them the price, because in the price I'm not showing the price, I'm showing them what I'm giving them.
Mm-hmm.
So the call needs to be, besides learning about them and what their problem is, and me giving them like how I solve this problem, I want to give them like, this is what you're gonna get. So if you want to work with me, I'm gonna send you a form where you're gonna unload your project there, whatever project you have right now going on. Or if you want an ongoing service, so I'm gonna have like an ongoing service packet thing in here. And if you want an ongoing service, then you have a form. If you want just one project based thing, you have this form. And then in that form I'm gonna have to add the package that they want or something. Right now I don't have it like that. I have it like, you fill out a form and I send you the price after. So so they get to choose whatever they want in the form, and then in that form I get all that information. And the system that I have kind of has AI has like, it kind of summarizes stuff. It's not that useful. It's not like a wow thing. But then I get all the information. Once I have all that information, then I send them an agreement.
Okay.
Which it's adding another step after I have all the information.
That's fine.
Which is fine, because every project will be a bit different, so I have to sense it a little bit and then send the right agreement for it. And once they've agreed, the agreement might be an ongoing service, or it might be a contract or project-based agreement. And then once the agreements are signed, then we start the job, and they would have to pay a down payment.
Okay. And then what?
Then I send them an invoice for a down payment. The down payment will be like 30% or 20 to 30% of the job. It might be 10%. I have to see.
It's okay. We're not worried about the details right now. We're just worried about the journey.
Alright, so 10 to 30% invoice to start the project. Then the project begins. And then once we start the project, depending on the project, we send out any questions that we have. So this is where I want an app. This is where I would love to have an app for communication with clients so that it's easy, because emails already, like, behavior wise, overwhelms the engineer.
Mm-hmm.
So if I tell them, hey, download this app or have this thing, then I can communicate with them through an app easier. And I met somebody told me that they are willing to collaborate. They're like doing nothing and they want to collaborate like that. And I'm like, I mean, this wouldn't be a nothing thing. But anyway, so it could be like a slow payment deal.
Okay.
Right?
Anyways,
sure. Yeah. Okay. So once they get that payment, once we receive the information from them, I send them a message saying, I send them questions. Okay. So I need like a good, clear format of questions that engineers can be like, beautiful, this is perfect. And I probably need to create, for now, a template. Now that we're working Primal, I need to create maybe a template for my drafters to follow that template, so it's a clear communication system. It's like, oh, okay, this is a clear. It needs drawing, question. That's what I do. I do the writing, drawing with boxes and arrows saying, I need to know this.
Okay.
I need more answers on this. I give them their detail and the drawing. Detail, depending on what it is, and I just point page, sheet, it needs to say the sheet number, all that stuff. The important thing overall, even if it's like a PDF format of questions that I'm sending to the engineer, the important thing is that it has all the questions that they need to answer me. And if it's like a shop drawing, then that's no issue, because those questions are going to go down to the engineer, and that's perfect, because the engineer is the only one that needs to answer that.
Okay.
I have a form for the engineers to fill out once those answers are back.
Okay.
It's not through email. I have a form that I send to them, and I say, once you have the answers, fill out, upload it to this form.
Okay.
So for now, it just seems, that's why like I need either a link tree or an app or something that is just like they go on it, they click on it, and they're like, okay, fill out the form. Like I have it in my form right now in my phone, and it's just like a click and you see a form.
Okay.
And it's
before
like,
we get too far off of forms and stuff like this, let's stick on the customer journey. So we're still at, you're asking questions. So
But where am I taking them? Because I'm already having them as a client so far.
You're gonna get paid. How do you? So we're not done yet. We are still in the middle of this. Of like, okay, you are at basically first iteration. The way that I explain it is, you've come up with a drawing, right? And you have some questions that they need to fill out. Okay, so they fill this out, and then what happens?
They fill this out. They send me all the answers from my questions, and once I have all the answers, we start drafting. Hopefully that's sufficient. Sometimes it goes back again for more questions. So the idea is to have like only one set of questions. That's the idea, but it could be two. Then once that is done, we get going. We start working, and that is a workflow that internally is the drafter, and if I may intervene a few times with them, making sure they're doing it right. If it's a shop drawing, or even if it's a structural in design like drawing, I do want to include engineers from here that to supervise that. So I will bring in the engineers that I have to be plan checking, plan reviewing all the drawings that I do. So
Okay.
I can really so there needs to be a stage of quality checkup.
Okay, we're just talking about the customer side right now, though. So we're just dealing, so just as far
So
as.
with the communication with them. So so right now it's the drawings are at work. Then when it's ready, I communicate with the client and I just send I send them through email
Okay,
the drawings.
okay. And then you get paid?
Yeah, but that's before sending the drawings.
Okay.
So I let them know that the drawings are ready, and to upload they have to pay. So they click on a link to upload their thing, and before they download the package, they have to pay.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And then do you talk to them at all after they get paid? After you get paid?
Yeah, if there's gonna be corrections and stuff.
Okay.
So within the corrections, it's within the agreement that they get 1 or 2 sets of corrections
Okay.
within a certain hours. So that's why I make sure to get paid like a good gap. And then after a set of hours, if they pass that, then they have to pay extra. That whole charge portion isn't so smart yet, because so far they come back with corrections, but there's always a little bit here, a little bit there, and I always end up telling them, hey, we need to charge for this, and they're like, why? So it brings a little bit of like discussion and fight.
Okay.
So I'm trying to see how to draw the line, because it's not easy once you have the drawings going. If there's a minor thing like, oh, but you missed this, and I'm like, well, that wasn't in the drawings. Well, it was like right here. It was like a little note right here. I'm like, well, that, like, it's kind of hard to run away, because they will always fight. And this is like a thing, like a behavior in the industry that they have. And not everybody's like that, but some people are like that.
Okay.
Especially like people that are hustling out there.
Yeah.
That they make good money, but they're hustling anyways.
Yeah.
They will fight for those things.
Okay.
And that can really disturb the whole workflow. Because if I'm working and not getting paid for that extra thing, so corrections can rearrange like 20 to 30 pages sheets, and some people charge 150 per sheet. So it can be a mess.
You also make a lot of money.
Yeah, it could, but it needs to be smartly proposed.
For sure.
And that's the part that I haven't gotten yet, because like the client that I have right now, he whines a lot about everything I charge him. It's like such a pain.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. You're pretty much there. I would add another step at the end of this, once you get paid in corrections, is getting more work and more referrals. You want to put them right back into this system again.
So once the corrections are done and paid, then everything is closed. Then I send them a form to see how the work was, like how easily they reviewed the drawings, how did they like it, what did they not like, like give me like a rating of everything. And once that's done, then I do ask them for referrals, and that's it. And then I contact them for next project if they're
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to reflect this a little bit, but this is also going to be part of the homework. And this is big. Obviously, you have a very involved process in this. But just kind of from what I've heard is you have initial interest, and then you've contacted them, and then you have filled out a form, and then you get together. And I would probably add, and we'll talk about this later, but I'd probably add a few steps just as far as like your direct communication. But you get the forms, and then so you're qualifying actually. You get the forms, and then you have a conversation, and you're qualifying if this is somebody if it's within your scope of work, and if this is somebody you want to work with. And then if that is, you get the drawings, and then you go over the project, then you give them basically a quote or a pricing. They agree to it. You have them upload all of your forms. You ask any follow-up questions. You send it to initial drawings with kind of more questions after that. And then there may be a couple of those iterations, and then you deliver final product. You have you get paid. You have reworked or any corrections like that, and then you send up the follow-up as far as how did things go, and then you ask for referrals or new projects. Generally, how does that, I mean, I know that wasn't everything, that was pretty basic, but I mean, does that cover the majority of what your customer is going to go through? Okay, well done. There you go. There's your customer journey.
But which one is the step?
They're all a step. Each one of these. So this is part of everything when I went like this is a new different step. So just getting activated, which is like getting in, actually it's interest. So somebody might have clicked on or clicked and viewed your profile. And that would be a step in your pipeline. And again, like this is going to be some work. There's no doubt about it. But like once you get this figured out, and then we are going to try to put this in HubSpot. And then like, oh, okay, I sent them the form, and each one of these has a different outcome. They did respond, they didn't respond. They did get a quote, they didn't get a quote. I did go with them, I did not go with them. So each one of the, okay, they were interested. I gave them the form. They filled out the form. We had a initial qualification, seeing if this is going to work. Then we got the project uploaded. Then we had clarifications. Then we got down payment. Then we got drawings sent. Then we had initial drafts, follow-up questions, secondary questions, deliver product, paid, corrections, referrals, or so. You have a lot. You have a very involved process. This isn't like buying a t-shirt, but just mapping this out and understanding, okay, this is how these things are going to go, and each one of these has its own forms and its own possible outcomes.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, you've got a 70% already.
Yeah.
Part of this is going to be, and you've already done it, but like getting an actual visual. And this board could be a great way of just doing this. This will be, I've written some notes here, but so thinking about this, seeing where things go, and then once we create pipelines and things like this, you can see, okay, everybody's getting stuck on this step. Like, why are we, like, we've got really great kind of retention through here, but whenever we're getting a lot of hiccups on the qualification or the quote or the follow-ups or the referrals, it's like, what is going on here? And then you can focus in on each one of these steps and be like, okay, we need to try this a little bit different. Maybe I need to change my form. Maybe I need to communicate a little bit different. But having your grand plan and your grand map of this customer journey is like, I mean, this is everything. And then you'll have your operations. Now, most of this, as far as how you are communicating with your subcontractors, but that's, we have covered a big part of what your business is and actually mapping it out. So now you have a visual that you can dive in and play with. Okay. Is that valuable? Does that seem valuable to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So getting into kind of, we just covered a heck of a lot of this. Sales process mapping, that's excellent. Messaging and positioning. Okay, refined pitch, positioning, persuasive language, explanation. We've already gone through what you do on calls, emails, or direct messages. We have dealt with the elevator pitch. We have talked about some of the hooks. One of the things we're going to work on a little bit more is qualifying your prospects. How do we know which ones are going to be good or bad? Okay, let's get a little bit more nitty-gritty. When you are talking to people, and this can be one of these stages of like initial messaging or anything like this, let's talk about objection handling. So what are some of the objections that you hear most often from your clients? People that don't buy, that could be a qualified client, what are they saying to you that gets in between you and getting them as a client or a sale?
The objection would be, I don't need it right now. I don't think is pricing maybe.
Okay.
They'll say that they have somebody else do it cheaper.
Okay.
So pricing and I think that pricing and they don't need it, kind of like avoiding, well, I'll call you, I don't need it right now, would be the major ones.
Okay.
Unless they need different expertise. If they need different expertise, oh, I need more like something else. I can't think of anything because it hasn't happened recently, but it could be that they want something else and they don't want to pay for what I'm offering them.
Okay.
Yeah, so mainly pricing, not really being a match to what I'm offering them.
Okay. And how do you handle that? What do you normally say to them?
Well, most of the rejections that I've had have been through email.
Okay.
So it's kind of like what I say is, I've had people not reject me, but like not respond.
Okay.
Because I asked them for more information. Like they want pricing on something, but they give me a plan and I don't know what I'm looking at. They're like, oh, I'm gonna detail the stairs, the steel, and like it's a 50-page plan that has a bunch of things.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna go and look for the stairs.
Okay.
So I tell them. So I've talked to you before about this. So I should have just told them, hey, let's have a call, and like, you know, what I did was like, hey, to improve workflow, and almost like with a little knife in my hand, and then got the other one, like, hey, I'm not gonna go look into your plans. So, yeah, I completely missed that lead because of my anger.
Okay.
Behind my email, probably. I mean, my email, if you read it, it's nice, but I'm sure there's like a little bit of edge in it.
This is part of sales, is a little bit, you know, the language that we use and how we do it is a little bit of schmoozing. As far as, I mean, any good communication, unfortunately, a lot of times can result in us doing a lot more work and swallowing pride. You know, if our goal is to be like, okay, I need, you know, this could be a good customer. I need to swallow my pride a little bit. This is why sales is fucking tough. But that's fine.
I don't think it comes with. I don't think it's pride, but there's definitely like, what do these people think? Like, unappreciated. Like, there's a little bit of like, ugh. Yeah. But yeah, I think we haven't even met, and I'm already getting mad, and you know. It's also like lack of empathy. It's like me being in my own bubble of like, I don't want to do this thing, and getting upset about it, which in a way it makes me reflect, because within engineering, within my other job, within my other company, I don't get like that. I'm like, I get really excited about being creative and how to bring them back. But within this, not that I do it well because I'm still learning too, but I get more excited. But with this, I get more angry because I do tend to see certain people. I don't think this guy was probably a match because the way he was delivering his thing, I was also resisting it because I'm also very open about working with people, but there are some people that I'm just like, I don't like the way it was just like one of those attitudes of certain people that just throw things at you like, what do you think?
Yeah.
Can you do that? Oh, you can't? I'll give it to somebody that can.
Yeah.
What do you think? You know? And I don't like working with people like that.
Okay. Can you think of anybody that you felt like was a good client that you might not have been able to
get? No. I think I haven't had a lot of outreach. This is my first time doing outreach to meet people. The people that I haven't like really like that I have experienced this rejection thing has been through Craigslist leads.
Okay.
And they haven't been good clients. One of them was a client, which is the client that made me hustle, and this is the client that taught me a lot about. So he was an ornamental fabricator. And ornamental fabricators don't understand the processing of engineering processing. They tend to be a little bit more labor style, and unfortunately labor style can be a little bit of very men based level of communication. Like, they don't like to do emails, they want to do it on the phone. They call you and they're like, hey, can you fix this thing? Okay, do you see this plate in this thing? Well, you know that plate over there, I want it to. And then they talk in their own language of construction. And this is something that engineers get overwhelmed with. I've seen my bosses in firms be like, hang up on them, be like, hey, I'm busy right now, I can't help you, send me an email. I'm busy, I don't take phone calls. You send me an email. So I have to do stuff like that, and I haven't had like the training to be a boss yet. I've never been in a firm where I have to like, my own clients that I'm like, hey, that I have to be super marketing with, like, hey, I'm gonna get you this and this and this, and this is a different tone. And then getting their call and them being like, hey, where's my drawing, where is this? And I'm like, or bombarding me with something that they want fixed in their drawings, and me needing to redirect them and tell them, you need to send me, like, guide them where I need them to get me that information. I do not take calls, thank you. And having an energy about it, because these people, if they see you soft, and this is the part where I get grumpy about, because I'm really like, I feel like people should be educated in how to approach things, but they're not. So most people in engineering, they have to have like a sword in place where you can't mess with them. So I've seen my bosses in the edge of anger. Like, they're never happy. And that's why when I have contractors say, oh, an engineer just yelled at me, I'm like, that's their role. That's part of if not, you're not going to listen to them. So they're not assholes. They're just doing their job. That's their job. Their job is to make sure you do good quality work so the building doesn't fall. So the building that they stamped and they designed does not fall. Contractors don't get that. So it's like dealing with all like this different angles of personalities and angles of life, and the language is completely different. Contractor speaks like blah, 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 and they don't. I'm like, do a drawing, and they don't even do that right sometimes, you know. So, I'm just getting angry right now.
It's all right.
So this is a part, but no, it's good. It's good to see that, because I don't want to attract that anymore. So the people that I haven't really rejected, they have left on their own, is the people that I've asked and required stuff from them.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe my email wasn't aggressive because I did want him, but when he said ornamental, I was like, I know the language I'm dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I'm dealing with a language that is not engineer level. And the level of the flow is not going to be as easy unless I give them rules. So that's what I did. And I explained, I didn't say I have rules. I said, hey, in order to give you a good workflow and to work really well and for you to get a better pricing, I need you to specify exactly what you need and mark it up in your plans without me having to search a 50-page plan.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that I've people have gone off because they're waiting for me to give them a quote, like old school way.
Okay.
Like they're buying some wood in a place.
Yeah.
How much is your wood? So yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's just language and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I do think having part of like your customer journey mapped out and just being, I think once we get to that point, you can be very confident in the fact of, if you deal with somebody like that, you can say one of two things of like, hey, this isn't how we do this, or, like I need you to be more specific in this, and this is part of the qualification process of like, and if you're not capable or willing to do this, then we're not going to work together. But that is kind of the beauty of this as well, of getting this all figured out and having each step figured out and kind of having the processes done of just right from the very beginning, having a conversation, hey, what do you want? Okay, well, I need you to do this. And if you can express that well, and if they're incapable of doing it, you can just very clearly be like, no, this is not, like, appreciate it. Or there might be another step in there that we'll get to a little bit later of just being like, hey, like, again, this would be something, I don't want to talk too much about it right now, but I do actually see a tremendous amount of value that could be provided in being the communicator and the interpreter for these people. Like having somebody, and maybe it would require hiring somebody else who just can sit with these people that does have a knowledge of, and they might not have to be like an excellent engineer, but they have to understand what needs to happen. Because part of what you said before is like you offer clear communication. Instead of, you can maybe be that interpreter as far as like, hey, I understand maybe you don't want to fill out these forms, you don't want to, but we have to have these things. So we're going to sit down and we're going to work through this. We're going to work together. I understand this could be frustrating for you or for me, but like, and if you're not willing to do it, that's totally fine. But this is an incredibly valuable resource that any engineer is going to need. So you have to be able to articulate these things to us. And we have a service here that will provide it for you. But it's very, it's a very valuable thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I definitely hire somebody to deal with that level of communication.
The way you say that. No, for sure, absolutely.
It's just like I don't think I get mad from a space of being mad at them. I don't even get mad. It's like a thing of like, this is not efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like my own like my energy or myself telling me I do not want to, like, this is a waste of my time.
Yeah.
And as soon as I sense this frustration, I know it's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is not working out. So it's not directly being angry at them because I understand them. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the reasons why I came into this side of work. Mm-hmm. Because I wanted to provide this stuff for everybody. But it's like, I've tried and then I realized in that sense, I could make it work. And I've got the experience of how to make it work. But it's not something that I deliberately have to do myself.
For sure. And also too, I want to keep moving through this, but this is really sticking out in my mind, is I do think this could be a big opportunity. Like, it is only inefficient if you're not getting paid for it. But if this is something, like this could be, you offer draft, you say it, but part of this thing is like we offer very clear communication. And it's like, no, this is actually like we spend, it might even be with some of these difficult people, if they have the money, it's like we spent 3/4 of our time just talking to you and 20% of the time, 25% of the time, just actually doing the drawings. But as long as you're getting paid for these things, and that can be part of this customer journey and this qualification process of like, hey, and figuring out, like, where are you on this scale of being able to communicate this? Like, can you fill out these forms? If not, that's okay. There's a different tier, there's a different service we have for you. We've got our expert communicators in here that basically translate what you need done, but you have to sit here and you have to talk with us. And we have to be very, very clear on these things because our end goal has to be like this. Mm-hmm. And if you're willing to do this, we offer this service, which I think is probably, I doubt that there are very many people offering whatever we want to call it. I don't even know. But, that's very different than offering a drafting service. You're basically offering the interpretation of what you need done, the communications of this. And if they're willing to pay you $100, $150 an hour for an engineer to sit down here and be like, hey, I got it. Like, we have to help you organize your thoughts. You can't just send me 50 pages. Like, we're going to get on here together. What page is this on? What aspect of it? Zoom in on it. Is this what you're talking about right here? What do you want? Do you want a weld? Do you want a gusset? Do you want a rivet? Do you want this and that? Okay, great. We'll make note of this. Anyway, I think that could be, and again, this doesn't have to be something, but if you're getting paid for it and you can qualify right off the bat and you know that this person is going to need these services, I think that could actually be like ridiculously lucrative.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I have a few more things here just as far as, well, follow-ups. As far as your leads, do you have any kind of follow-up communications already planned out with some of these leads that you, that might fall off? Or any, this kind of has to do with the whole...
Yeah, so within the leads, so I have 3 types of clients. The engineering firms and the independent engineers, they could fall off because of pricing. Because, like I said, some of them are a hustling mentality because of how much they get paid and all that. And then so I would have to emphasize for them not to fall off, I would have to really emphasize the good quality and really give them results. And really it would depend if those results are really important for them. Some engineers don't really, they are used to their burnout, so they might not think of that result as a easy thing to give them. And then the other people, the other people, that the fabricators, what could have them fall off is pricing as well, or yeah, I think pricing mostly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's the biggest concern for most of these clients.
Okay. Which is a huge concern. That also comes into, just getting into the sales pitch. And actually, I'm realizing now, I just made a note of this. A lot of the stuff that I still have here is like the follow-up nurturing, the presentation, and the closing tactics. I think the best next step is once we get your customer journey mapped and we kind of figure out what each of these stages are, we'll dive in a little bit deeper. We might actually do 2 more sessions on this. Mm-hmm. Just being like, okay, what are the specific questions that we have to ask at each stage and how do we ask these things? But I think until we get that fully mapped out, I don't think it's going to be totally worth our time to dive in there.
Yeah.
Plus, we've gone over quite a bit. I mean, this has been a heck of a lot. We've gotten online presence and tech stack. We've got sales metrics and feedback.
Is there anything that goes into the inner system, like the actual collaborators doing also a good job on it, or that isn't.
Not right now.
This is a sales.
This is just sales. So
Yeah.
this is operate that I would consider operations.
Yeah, and no, and I think, I mean, this is giving me a lot of, like, as soon as I'm working on this, I'm also like working on the other side. Because I mean, I am, if I'm selling something, I have to be deciding how am I gonna make it work, and I know I can make it work. I can definitely make it work, but it's definitely like there's a cost to it.
Totally.
Unless I just want slow drafting, like not slow drafting, but just regular service.
Yeah, which, you know, this is part of what and I know this is a lot of, this business is you and yours, but part of what I'm offering as the consultant and things like this is I'm going to steer you in certain directions. And one of these directions that at least I've heard you express is, you know, you want to offer very high quality, and you mentioned multiple times that you want to do it quickly or efficiently. And I don't know if you've ever heard the term in business or the phrase fast, cheap, or good. Pick two. And so you seem to be going towards, and I would push you in this direction of being fast and good, which means you're not cheap. So this is going to be a little bit of a shift as well, because I think you were trying to, a lot of people,
fast and cheap.
Yeah, or whatever. A lot of people try to do all three, and you can't. You just
definitely good, because you don't want to do anything with an engineer. You don't want to do anything that is not good, but.
But also, I think your good can be a little bit different, because there is an absolute standard that has to be met. But I think as far as your good as well, it can be how many touch points do you have? Like, how many times do you have to come back with people and communicate? How many revisions do you have to do? And if you can really get that dialed in and be like, listen, we only have to talk a few times and you're going to get this in 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that adds work time. So every time we have to go back and forth.
Yep.
It is also, like, if we're going back to do questions, besides the time that we do talking and the time that we do emailing and preparing those documents to ask the questions, there's also a correction that includes a bunch of fixing and redoing in the program. And that's something that I'm becoming aware that adds a lot of time and needs to be appreciated within the cost.
Absolutely.
So that is one of the things, like, and a lot of people are, we have to offer corrections as part of, like, our thing, because there might be something that we missed. So we have to offer, like, at least 2 set of corrections, but we have to be, like, very careful in what corrections are those.
Totally.
Because if they're gonna add, like, engineers tend to be like, oh, you need to add this. So, yeah, and if they have those little notes or something in the plans, then if we're charging a lot, and I want to charge a lot because I want that it's including that little note that we missed. And we're like, okay, we'll fix that because we're charging a lot, so there's, like, space for that. You know what I'm saying? But if we're not, then the workflow becomes already low. Because the moment that we're getting, like, a bit burned out through this processes, because people love to come back and engineers love to add stuff. And I don't want them to add stuff and not be charged for. So, like, having, like, a really good, strong, like, that's what I'm struggling right now with my last client. I was like, I had the best agreement, I had everything, but he came back with certain corrections, and I was like, okay, perfect. And then something was outside of the plan, it wasn't detailed there, and I'm now working on it, like, 2 months already after. So the project was supposed to be done in 5 weeks. Yeah. And I'm still working on it, on something that was already paid. Yeah. And it's like,
this is also going to be the value of mapping out the whole customer journey, because you're going to know, hey, this is the stage, and these are the forms that come through, these are the agreements, and we don't move forward. And an example of this can be like, hey, we have a conversation or whatever, you have this person sign something. It's like, hey, are all of these things, I've listed all of the things that you want and all of the requirements. Do you agree that this is everything that we are going to do here? And they say yes or no. And part of this can be like part of your journey, like after you get the qualifications and you tell them right up front in the qualifying of these people, it's like, hey, the way that we do this is we sit down and we have a very in-depth meeting. We get on the same page of everything that you need done, and you sign off on these things. And we do not move onto this next stage until you sign off on these things. And once you can do that, once you really have this mapped out, you're done. You're done here. And they say, oh no, I want to change this. Okay. This, as I explained to you on the onboarding, you can have changes. These are $150 a page, or whatever they are. You very clearly agreed. This is exactly what you wanted. And that process, this is really where I think a lot of your value can come from, is that first initial, like, let's get everything flushed out. We need to know, get you sitting down here, like, and we don't accept notes. Like, and if this is the contract that we have right here, there wasn't a line on here that said, and any other notes that I add on here. It's like, no, we went through all of those notes. We got these things figured out. You agreed to this. We're moving forward. And just being able to do that, I think, is going to create, it will make it very efficient. You get everything figured out up front. It makes you very confident, and it makes you able to be very clear on how much time it's going to take and how much you can charge.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're going to be done with this for the moment, unless, no, we're just going to be done with this for the moment. Well, like I said, I think we are probably going to have at least 2 more sessions as far as going through this, getting the customer journey figured out, and then we can dive really into the nitty-gritty of script writing and the copy for the outreach and things like that. So here are some of the steps, and I think I kind of want to number them as far as importance. So, Gesundheit. Number one thing that we need to get done is you really coming up with the actual draft of your customer journey.
Okay.
So having a draft, 70%, and I wrote some notes here, 70%, write out each step, and these are more suggestions, but write out each step on a sticky note. And then you can kind of use your board, and you can just go through and be like, okay, I've got to get them interested, I've got to do this part, I've got to do this part. Part of this process, writing out each stage, and then you come up with what are the different outcomes for these things. Did they send it in? Did they not send it in? And again, this is just a 70%. We already went through it. We probably got a good solid 60%. You went through mentally all of these things. Now we actually have to get it mapped out. Mm-hmm. The way that I do it, or the way I would suggest doing it, is sticky notes. This is, because you can move them around. You can realize, oh, actually, I need to do this before I do this. But you get each stage that we kind of talked about, get them figured out in the order of what they're supposed to do, and then you figure out whatever outcomes can come from that. Just for the time being, we don't have to worry about what you're going to do if somebody didn't respond to an initial message. Just work them through where you get paid, and we start them back in this process, or you get another customer.
Okay.
And with these, like each step of these, come up with what forms are going to be required. So, not just, okay, I've got them interested. What do I need from them now? I need them to submit their drawings. I need them to submit their specifications. I need them to submit any corrections. So getting kind of each little step figured out. And this is a pretty big assignment. I mean, this is going to take some energy, but this is a pretty solid work to do that. The next most important thing is really just refining that one-line offer. So we went through it a bit, that emotional aspect of it, but this is going to be the very first thing, even in the customer journey. Like, that's number one. How do you even get people interested? I offer what did we write? I even wrote it down here. Offer quality drafting, clear communication to free up your time to do what you love and make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Something like this. Play with it a little bit. Work on it. Again, we're just getting to the 70% here.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is figuring out, and this will be kind of one of the more in-depth things in your customer journey, but figuring out how you can qualify good and bad clients. So how do you know, like, what questions are you going to ask them? Is there some sort of like test project or test submission that you need to do? Like, okay, thanks. What we need you to do now is submit all of these things. Only give me the pages that you need required. Like, then if they give you 50 pages and you told them that I only need 2 pages, then it's like, okay, great. This is not going to be something that I'm going to work with you. But figuring out, kind of brainstorming, how do I figure this out? How do I save a whole hell of a lot of heartache? And how do I get the customers that are just going to be good for me and pay well right from the very beginning?
Okay.
Those are the 3 main ones. While you're doing this, if you're going to still be doing outreach, actually, yeah. So part of this as well, and again, this is not, we're diving in here, but it's going to be very important too. You don't necessarily have to have this done, but figuring out HubSpot. So you've already paid for this. This is going to be something that once the customer journey is done, you don't have to necessarily put it in here, but maybe just spend some time being like, okay, you've already spent some time figuring out pipelines and this and that, but like, let's get your foundation ready so that once we're really doing a lot of prospecting and we're sending out these email messages, like, you're already done. You don't have to worry about like, where are these people at? Where are they in the process? Have I already given them these forms? Have they responded to these forms? Like,
Yeah. The thing is that I'm using forms outside of HubSpot. HubSpot has its forms, but I'm using right now forms outside of HubSpot, and I don't know how to trigger. I think they could trigger stages in HubSpot, so they probably do. They probably could. So I do have to, and it does connect with ClickUp, which is where the project management thing. So yeah, I'm sure they could. Yeah.
Okay, and then just as you're doing that, before HubSpot is figured out, I would encourage you to keep doing your outreach. And again, we'll meet probably early next week, but just keep track of how things are going, how many people are responding to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's basically it. Just start getting in the habit of tracking what is going on here for your sales. Who's responding? Where are they responding? Where are they at in this process? So we can start just getting into the habit of having everything scientifically put in its right place, and we can see exactly how things are going.
Okay.
So, it's not the most beautiful handwriting, but any questions?
No.
Okay. Does it seem doable?
Yeah. I'm gonna try to make it not like keep balance between this and the other things I have going.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean I think the lead part is something that I'm working on right now. So I have to balance it out with that, because last time I focused so much on the system, which I created everything I'm doing now, with what I have now, but it took a lot.
Oh, for sure.
And I kind of almost was tired. I didn't want to do the launching part. The launching kind of happened after a month later or 2 weeks after or something. So I think I'm going to do the homework of this as soon as I have time. And it shouldn't be hard. I think we did map it out. I think I already have like 2 of the homeworks. 2 is almost done. The thing that might take some time would be the 70% draft.
Yes.
And I still think I can take like an hour or 2 by myself, creatively, and do it. So I just have to organize myself this time around, so I'm not. Yeah, it shouldn't be bad. I think the other portion, which took me a lot of time, was getting to know the programs, getting to know what I wanted to work and how I wanted to do it, and yeah, I did a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Things.
Yeah, and I know. Yeah, it is. This is intense. I mean, this is This is a lot. We've gone through quite a bit, but I think getting this done, laying the foundations, and then we can really work from there. I expect, if we keep working through this process, which I hope we do, I really do expect there to be some pretty substantial outcomes from here.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, parallel to getting clients, which this I think can help, and I'm sure there's more work for it. The operations portion is something that I'm like, just because if I do get clients, I have to sell that thing.
For sure.
So that's why I need about 3 good clients to get that flowing.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm having those clients, I'm gonna have to build those systems of communication. I think the systems of good quality and unloading their workload will be. I'm selling it for sure. I am focused, or the part that I'm like, I need to lay out the foundation really well, or like to make it easy for them. That's the only part. I have everything good.
Yeah.
What I need is like something that is simple. Like
Yeah.
I need to simplify the way I present to them, the way we're going to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a simple way. I'm almost like refusing to communicate or connect with them through email. So that's something I'm kind of
For sure.
feeling needs to be worked on somewhere for me.
Yeah. And again, I just want to, there will always be things to do and to improve. And, I'm happy to help on those aspects as well. Don't get too overwhelmed. If you can, compartmentalize, like, we're just focusing on the front end right now. Once you get good paying customers, this is going to make things a lot easier. Because you're going to be able to hire other people to help with these things. Or you're going to be able to just hire people that can do these things. And there's enough meat on the bones where you can still be making good money on these things. And just, this is the meat of what you're doing. You're not doing anything particularly simple. Like you communicating, you are the interpreters between the engineers and the builders. This is not a simple thing. And creating simplicity is the genius of it, but it's fucking tough. So, give yourself just a little bit of grace of, you don't have to be perfect at this right away. Just and we'll do iterations out of iterations out of iterations. One thing I would put on there is one thing, because this is what a lot of what you're building is a technology. At first, there's a saying of do things that don't scale. And so as opposed to, trying to get everything figured out where, technology where people can just fill out forms and do this or that and the other, I would very much encourage you to just buy into the process of I am going to, or I'm going to have somebody else actually be doing these things. So instead of like, hey, I need you to fill out these forms or send these emails, it's like, I'm going to jump on a phone call and we are going to talk this out. And we are going to figure out exactly what you need. And once you do more and more repetitions of these, and obviously you're going to charge for this. This is part of the onboarding of like, this might be 4 or 5 hours at the very beginning, just getting really dialed in of what you actually need done. But if you can just get to a place where you explain this very well, you're getting paid well for this, get many repetitions of that in, and then you can start moving towards, okay, we get this more refined, we get forms figured out, filled out. But I also do think that this could be part of the way that I've heard you talk about this in the engineers. It feels like this is a huge hurdle. Like they don't want to communicate this way. They don't want to fill out the emails and stuff like that. So this might be part of just embracing that process and being like, okay, you don't have to fill these forms out. You can, which will save you time and money, or save you money. But this is part of our service, is actually a huge part of our service, where we get on here, we talk it through with you, we figure out exactly what you want to do, and this is the only way you communicate. So.
No, yeah, that's a good way of doing it. Just giving them the option to have that.
Yeah, and charge them. That's the beautiful thing about really knowing who your ideal customer is is like going to people that can't afford that. Don't deal with people that are like, no, I'm not gonna do this. I just want to send you this shit and have you do all the work. Like, don't deal with them. Just no, you just don't deal with them. Thank you very much for your interest, but this isn't how we operate. Doing everything that I can. This doesn't seem like it's gonna work. If you decide that you do want to either pay for our services or figure out how to do it yourself, we'd be happy to take you as a customer. But until then, this isn't a good fit.
Yeah. And do you think it should be charged a lot? Like how a lot for...
Okay, the prices that you gave me, again, and this is really a big part of, I think we've done a pretty damn good job of at least brainstorming your ideal client. And I'm trying to remember the numbers that you gave me, but you were basically saying that engineers charge $250 to $500 an hour. Junior engineers charge $150 to $300 an hour. I wouldn't charge less than $150.
Yeah.
And you just have to find the people. And again, it's simple. This isn't necessarily easy, but part of the demographics that you're looking for is like, I would probably stick to companies that are at least at the minimum $5 million in revenue. And don't be afraid to go reach out to the $500 million. Like, you offer a very valuable service that is needed. And yeah, I mean, I would charge $150 an hour.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and I mean, if I do focus on those engineers, it would always push me to upgrade. I don't want to be stuck in the low place of just drafting. Like I said, drafting is our way of communicating, connect with others, but eventually I will have freelance engineers, because I already have freelance engineers who are engineers, like designers. They're looking for big projects. They're looking to design. They're looking for improving constructability and all that stuff. So there will be more offering to so many things. So we will have engineers that could go on site and be like, and help certain things.
If you get very good at communicating well, like if you're a stud communicator and everybody in your business is, and you can provide a minimum quality, like engineering, obviously your standards of minimum quality are higher than every other industry. You do not have to be the super engineers. This is truly, these are the things that make businesses more valuable and differentiating. Be easy to work with and make sure that you deliver on time and you do what you say you're going to do. If you can do that, if you can prove that you are one of these people, there are going to be countless people out there that are willing to train you, that are willing to help you out. Because, I mean, I guarantee you there are hundreds of millions of dollars of projects out there that really don't take a super high level of engineering. They're just big projects. Many of these huge projects are broken down into very, very simple processes, you know? There's only the top 10% that are like, shit, we need some super geniuses here. But it's like, no, you have to build the carts for the tracks or whatever. But it's like, no, I need you to do it right the first time. I need to only talk to you twice to be able to do this, to make sure that you know what the hell you're doing. And it's like, and if you can do this for me, if you can show me you have these values, it's like, yeah, I'll take you under my wing. People are incredibly willing to teach and help other people that make their lives easier and that do quality work. And I would really emphasize on these things. Your quality, again, you've mentioned it, and I also think it's incredibly valuable. If you are very good at being able to communicate, that is so incredibly valuable, especially with techies and engineers. You said it yourself, these people suck at communicating. So if you can be like, no, we're the stud communicators and we're good to work with. We don't yell at you. We don't do these things. You're only dealing with people. So get a few under your belt. Be like, $150 for drafting. It's great. Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Well, I mean, at the moment, we haven't. Like, can we? But like, if you give me the opportunity, we absolutely can. Great. Here, I'll help you out. Let me know what you need. But this will open up doors. If you get fucking really good at this, you are going to have boundless doors open to you.
Yeah. So when you said 150, You meant for the communication or for the whole drafting per hour?
No, that's per hour. I would say any of these things, and pricing is a whole different beast. But like I would say, if you need to sit down and talk with somebody,
that's 150
at least
minimum. Yeah, depending on what it is.
I wouldn't charge less than $150 for anything.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a meeting of improving something in the structure and it's a qualified engineer, then it would be 500 the hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Or more.
Yeah, exactly.
It might be more.
So, and that's something, just get comfortable with that. Like, if those are really accurate numbers where engineers are charging $250 to $500, just also understand if that's the person that's talking to you and they're only making $250 an hour and you're charging them $150 an hour, they're still making $100 an hour while you work. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. As long as you really can convey that, no, this is going to be quality, this is going to be done on time, this is going to make your life less hassle-free and more enjoyable. People will... Price is never the issue. It's never the issue. Really.
I mean, if we're really offering like the best of the best, then no.
And even so, in these prices, that's not the best of the... I mean, best of the best is probably $1,500 an hour. But just for the drafting in these services, like, just get into their league. Get up here and just say, because honestly, if you're like an absolute fucking stud drafter and you guys really are the best and you're super fast, you can probably charge $200 to $300 an hour. If these people are making $500 an hour, that's still a great service for these people. But starting up, I mean, I think you were mentioning you were charging, I don't know if it was 30.
I mean, for drafting, it's 40 the hour for shop drawings, which are usually within 100 in a company. Mm-hmm. In a company that has the repetition and the experience of constructability, which is a thing that I am bringing in with managers of fabrication drawings and fabrication companies, which I'm bringing in right now, and I can start to offer it in a way, but I don't want to charge 100 because then they do have, like, if the higher you charge, they do have those expectations. Mm-hmm. And I haven't gotten there, so I'm going there slowly but surely within that.
Challenge yourself. I would, and I think that's great, recognizing where you're at and having some humility in that, but also, like, believe in yourself and challenge yourself. If you get a $150 an hour job, you're going to make sure that you are giving this quality. You're going to figure out what it is. And also, like, there's always wiggle room in these things. You say, hey, I'm going to charge you $150 an hour. You charge them for 8 hours. Maybe it took you 10 or 12. But, like, either way, you tell them, I'm charging you $150 an hour. If there's some major snafu that you screw up or something, like, there's a lot of wiggle room in here. But give yourself enough of a buffer in here where it's like, if somebody screws up, you're not fucked. Like, all your profits are gone. And you'll start figuring out what people expect for $150 an hour. And yes, you're going to have to deliver that. But at the same time, $150 an hour for what you've told me, that is kind of the basic level of what an engineer is going to get charged. You are dealing with engineers. And not only that, never be cheaper than what a business would pay their employee. Because I think you mentioned they would charge it would be $100 an hour for somebody in-house. Did I understand that? Well, that's going to cost them between
$150 in-house?
I thought you said, I charge $40 an hour, but if they were to do it in-house, they would pay like $100 an hour or something like that?
No. Engineers in-house, drafters, engineers in-house, they probably get paid 30 to 40.
Okay.
Some of them may 50, maybe, if it's BIM modeling and stuff.
Okay.
But the company to the client charges $200 to $500 for an engineering consulting, like them talking, being like, no, this is how you do it, whatever. Design, maybe $500 at the hour. But the drafting portion is usually charged $120.
Okay.
$100.
Okay.
For the client.
Perfect.
Directly for the client. But a company, they're not spending that. They're spending like $40 the hour or $30 the hour with a little, not with a little, but with a technician for drafting. Okay. So they don't pay that much.
Oh yeah. Okay.
For them. So if they pay me, I'm outside of them.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea was that instead of them hiring someone else, I'm charging almost the same. So I was charging the same as an in-house. And that's why fabricators in LA, they call me because I'm charging what they would pay an in-house,
Okay.
not a company. If they pay a company, the company is gonna charge them more.
For sure.
And still have errors, I'm sure.
Well, you can't, I mean, just as the way the numbers go, like you can't afford if you are an outside company, you can't afford to get paid what they would pay an employee. You just have so much more overhead and so much more responsibility that goes into these things. And not only that, like you as a company, you're not an employee. You actually had to go find these employees, which is a whole other added set of values that you provide for these things. So don't ever charge, like just thinking about it that way, like we're going to get out of the mentality of being like, oh, I'm going to be, don't compare what they would pay, compare what they are going to get, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So like, doesn't matter, oh, they could pay somebody $30, well, they don't have somebody $30 an hour. And they might have to hire 10 people to figure out somebody who's half decent, that's $30 an hour, and then once they realize they're half decent, they're going to go somewhere else and make $70 an hour. Mm-hmm. And you're not, this is different. This is the different mentality from an employer to an employee, is you are not, don't compare yourself to what they would pay somebody, compare yourself to the value that they give them.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm definitely like already feeling different about it.
Yeah, for sure. This is huge, and this is super difficult. This is a very tough shift in perspective, kind of from going from an employee to a business owner. You're like, no. There are stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks on top of what goes into being an employer than an employee. Because you have to find high quality people. If you are only getting low paying jobs, you're never going to be able to find high quality talent. You're never going to be able to give benefits. You're never going to be able to have any type of incentives. You're never going to go on a vacation. You're never going to have a fucking retirement. Yeah. So, like, there's mountains in here. And employees understand that. Mm-hmm. You just have to find the ones that do.
Yeah.
And then you offer them the value.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.